what is your assessment of this deal, knowing we don't have all the details, some kind of phase one trade deal in place? President Trump says going right into phase two, already a lot of skepticism. What do you see?
Well, I'm glad that they have apparently reached phase one and that there will be a suspension of tariffs. The tariffs have really hurt our companies, our workers, and our competitiveness. And by tariffs, I mean both the ones we've imposed and the retaliatory tariffs. So the fact that we apparently have come to some positive conclusions on some of the issues, even though some complain that they're so few, the fact is that it's progress, and so I applaud that.
You know, Robert Lighthizer, we showed him speaking on CBS earlier today, said that one of the things that would determine how this plays out is whether or not the hardliners are in control in China. What do you think by what he meant by that, and do you agree?
Well, I think about trade as having a political component. You know, we have very sharp differences in our Congress today, and China has its differences in its Politburo. And I hope that what we are pushing actually works with what the China needs to do and wants to do. You know, they want to move more to a market-oriented model of growth. And what we're asking of them will help them do that. So it could be a win-win situation.
Now, you were a U.S. trade representative from 1989 to 93, so you've been in these sorts of negotiations before. What's your assessment of how these negotiations were conducted?
Well, I wasn't in the negotiating room, and everyone has their own style. I personally would have advised my president to address the grievances that the government and the public here have, if the time was right, to say, to join with our allies who have the same complaints. And basic norms of the World Trade Organization are national treatment and non-discrimination. And China's rules do discriminate against foreigners, and we don't get national treatment. And if we had joined hands with Europe, Canada, Japan, South Korea, we had represented more than 65% of global GDP. I think that we would have gotten a faster and more harmonious outcome because China could not afford to turn its back on that coalition.
Do you have any hopes that a more multilateral approach might be undertaken when it comes to the really hard stuff, like IP and subsidies?
We should. You know, I believe in the rule of law, and to have a really good agreement that others want to either join or copy is what America has always done. And so, yes, I root for our home team to negotiate a great agreement.